If you're wondering why nothing is happening for you, it seems very quiet right now. Like the universe is not there, God isn't there, whoever it is you believe in, it just feels silent. And it feels like nothing's happening for you, nothing's going on, despite all of the manifestation practices you've tried, despite all of the affirmations that you've affirmed, and the vision boards that you've created, the self concept that you've set for yourself, and made sure that everything when it comes to input has already been done. Output wise has already been done, but there's nothing happening for you. I invite you to take a deeper dive into the questions that you have not asked yourself, the questions that you're actually afraid to ask yourself. This is actually coming from last week when I have been building my different income streams over the past year. And I think now I have like 7 different income streams, and I've been trying to build them, but there was like a week where I didn't get any sales at all, like at all. And I'm just like, what's happening? Like I put all of my effort, I put all of my work. I'm really on top of helping my clients, helping my customers. And I'm just wondering, what do I have to do that I haven't already done? Like what's going on? It's not clicking. There's been weeks where I don't try and it feels magical with how many sales. And it just feels like no matter what you do, there's just no give. There's nothing happening for you. And it's really hard to maintain a very positive mindset when you're experiencing this, trust me. And I think actually, I've said this before, but one of the most powerful things that you can do to manifest more into your life or just to create more goodness in your life is to be honest with yourself. Be honest. I think that this whole value of maintaining a positive frequency, which a lot of people do interpret as meaning to ignore any negative or heavy feelings, is wrong, because there is no worse frequency than the frequency of fakeness, the opposite of authenticity. The big goal in life, at least for me, is to maintain my authenticity, because it's really difficult sometimes to act truly from your heart space instead of a place of panic, instead of a place of being in survival mode, but actually acting from your heart. Maintaining your authenticity, I think, is one of the most powerful things that you can do to manifest. And that means being honest with yourself, not pretending that you're okay when you're not, because just because you do have a moment where you have a crash out, breakdown, whatever, these are moments that are integral, so important to your development in your self-identity and finding what you truly want versus what you don't want to create in your life. So these moments where you have a breakdown, where you break this positive facade out, I was doing so well, I was affirming so well, these are important moments because they redirect you and they make you make progress faster, actually, because you're affirming more to what you actually want to create rather than trying to cater to a goal that you thought you had that you didn't actually align with. So you're getting closer to what you truly want by having these breakdowns and crash outs and things like this, and they're powerful emotions because they come from the heart. They come from a place of either displeasure or disappointment and the desire that you love yourself so much that you want something better for yourself. You want a better version of you for your family, a better version of you just for yourself. And when you think from this perspective, you can really start to value when those moments are really quiet. You're not really making a lot of progress. You don't understand why it's not working for you. If it's really quiet, it's the universe making space for you and giving you the opportunity to make space for yourself. What areas of your life are blocking your blessings? What areas of your life are really holding you back from finding what you truly desire? Are you a people pleaser? Do you feel a sense of guilt? Do you have a bad relationship with your mom? Do you have a bad relationship with your family, your sister, your brother? Have you always wanted to heal that relationship, even though maybe you don't feel like they necessarily deserve your time, but you always felt like you wanted to deal with it at some point? Are you charging too low for your services? Do you think it reflects on how you really feel about yourself? Are you not taking care of your health enough? Are you ignoring something just so that you can just keep going and try to make enough to pay the bills, but you're ignoring your health? Are there areas like this that are blocking your blessings? Because once you realize that all the things you're doing are in theory right, you're doing the thing in order to bring more income in, you're diversifying your income streams, but it just seems like no matter what you do, it's not giving. It is a moment to become introspective and to look within. Trust me, this is what I went through last week. I opened a document and I wrote all the things on my mind that I feel like could be blocking my blessings, and I actually phrased it as, what are you willing to sacrifice? If you want to make a lot of money in this lifetime, or you have a big goal, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because it is law. You must give a little bit. Sacrifice must be made. It's a give and take. What are you willing to sacrifice? You're willing to sacrifice time. You've already sacrificed time, but are you willing to expose yourself to healing the relationship with your parents? Or are you willing to heal the relationship that you have with pleasing people? Are you willing to take a look at how your self-worth is impacting how you price your services? Are you willing to take a look into why you don't take care of your health? Why you don't do things like, I don't know, do some form of sport, or if you're going through a serious health issue, why aren't you spending the time to at least, if you can't go to a doctor, but try to figure out little things that you can do on a daily basis, tracking your meals, tracking your sleep habits, things like this in order to get you closer to feeling better. Are you willing to sacrifice the effort that it takes to get through these things in order to clear the space in your mind and your heart to be able to allow in more? And once I answered these questions, I set, what questions are you afraid to ask yourself? And some of the questions were deep. I mean, I had questions like, why do I resent certain people? Why do I feel like I can't price my services above a certain price? And once I answered those questions, I'm not kidding you, maybe within 2 minutes, I got a huge donation on one of my services. It was a product that only cost $4.99. The person bought it for $17. And I don't know why they did that, but in that moment, that felt like such divine clarity to me. It meant to me that I should be answering these questions. And I think I've been, even though I'm this type of person who's very self-aware and I really try to deal with stuff like this, there are questions that I was running away from. If you're the type of person that does run away from stuff, you're probably running away from a lot more than you think. So taking the time to actually write down all of these questions that you're afraid to ask yourself and to open it up as a shadow moment. When I talk about shadow work, this is shadow work. The questions you're afraid to ask yourself are some of the most telling questions because they expose the shadow aspects of who you are and what you believe. And you have the opportunity to change these at any single moment in your life. You have the opportunity to say, reset. I'm not doing this anymore. Reset. I just realized that I feel like I don't deserve a certain amount of money because I was told in the past before, or when I received money in the past as a child, I was looked at like, why am I getting that much money as a child? So inherently, I felt like I didn't deserve it. Being given a lot of money was something that I only deserved if I was, I don't know, like going above and beyond, overworking myself, to the point that I realized that's why I was trying to strive for working like 10 hours a day straight without stopping as a teacher. That's crazy. It's crazy. I even realized things like asking myself, why do I do this? Why do I feel like I have to work myself to that point? And I realized I was punishing myself. Why was I punishing myself, and what was I punishing myself for? Exploring these questions because they're deep and they're deeply rooted and they affect you. Rather than asking yourself, okay, what more can I do for my business? Ask, what more can I do for myself in order to allow more? And not being afraid to ask those questions to yourself. Not being afraid to be like, you know what? What am I afraid of if I were to heal the relationship with this person? If I were to forgive somebody from my past, what am I afraid of? And going into it, if you have to heal a relationship with a person that you really don't want to, thinking, okay, but is just contacting them, telling them how I feel, or just saying hello going to alleviate that feeling for me, at least a little bit? Because trust me, the universe will always reward you for those things. Doing those difficult things, you will never go unrewarded. Trust me. It might not be now, but it will be in the future that you reap the goodness, the karma from being brave enough to look inside of yourself and maybe consider that, hey, I'm doing something wrong. I might be doing something wrong. I might be treating people in a way that I wouldn't want to be treated, or maybe thinking like I might not be doing justice to myself by pricing my skills so low. And I'm not giving the best version of myself since I only price my skills at a certain amount. If I were to price it more, I'm sure I would be able to deliver the prime version of myself to my clients. Think about it. The type of clients who want to pay a lot of money do exist. They do exist. I've had a lot of strange occurrences, experiences with clients that I never thought would have existed, like really strange, interesting backgrounds to certain clients. And I didn't even know those type of clients existed. Like, trust me, just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Exposing yourself to these things and exposing yourself to the questions that you're afraid to ask will always be extremely powerful. Journaling, or at least talking to yourself about those things that you're afraid to consider, being open-minded. It's very important to be open to the universe, because you might end up doing something that might be completely different from the goal that you're trying to achieve. And yes, trust me, it's so scary because you become attached to the identity of the version of you who wanted that dream. And then all of a sudden, considering the fact that that might not actually be what is meant for me or what I want to do or what is good for me to do. It's scary. But considering these things, being open is what will bring you more into your life. Being open to the possibility of doing something different. Being open to the possibility of trying something new. Being open to the possibility of thinking in a new way. Thinking with a new perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. And you have the opportunity to reset every day. You have the opportunity, and that will open up the channels for different forms of abundance into your life. You might end up getting more income. You might end up getting more ideas, better ideas, more efficient ideas that lead you to the dream that you desire. But considering these, I think that's why when I see people that have made it as self-made millionaires, things like this, I always think like it's definitely not just a financial journey, it's a spiritual journey. Because I think that these people, at least a lot of them, have had to face demons, face versions of themselves, and they've probably had to reset so many times. They've probably had to rebirth a new identity so often. And I know I have, and I feel this on a deep level, that you should at any moment feel free to reset. Something that happens that doesn't align with you, you say, no, not in my world. Not in my world. No. Something happens with a friend, something happens with a family member, don't even put any energy into it, don't entertain it, just say simply, no, not in my world. I'm not even going to address that. Not in my world. The only thing that gets you closer is by being able to challenge yourself and be brave enough to explore the parts of yourself that you're afraid of exploring. In those areas, you'll find versions of you that will be integral parts of your self-development. In asking those scary questions, it's one of the only things that will break you free from this pattern of nothing happening. That liminal space, that empty space, is giving you the opportunity to look inside yourself. Take it as an opportunity and use it for your benefit. That could be by doing shadow prompts. It could be by working through certain traumas, certain experiences. And it could even mean for you doing a celebration of your past self and saying, thank you to my past self. I would say, thank you, Madison, the version of Madison that got me to this point. I appreciate you because without you, I wouldn't have made it to this point. However, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. I thank you. I love you. And I don't need you anymore because I'm ready to start anew. Doing this is such a powerful practice too. I mean, it's emotional. The version of you that got you to this point is probably one that's gone through a lot of hardships and survival. But if you want to be extremely successful, you don't want to operate from a place of survival anymore. So you have to thank that version of you that has all these great survival skills, but that you don't want to live in a sense of survival anymore, but in a sense of freedom. And say, thank you, I let you go now. Thank you for your service. I dismiss you, and I welcome in the new version of myself. And who is that? You need to define it. Write your self-concept. Write who you believe in, what you believe in. This new version of me believes in freedom. This new version of me believes in not trading time for money, my effort for money, not time, my effort. So even if that means that I'm working 1 hour on a product, I will be endlessly paid for that product, not for time. A person who is ambitious, a person who is, I would say, consistent. Consistency is one of the most important values as someone in business or someone who wants to have a stable income that not just comes from working hard, but by setting up multiple income streams, setting up the fact that, okay, I accept that it might be difficult, but I will show up every day even if it means in a small way. Because it's bound to work for you. It's bound to happen at some point. So in the sense of really asking yourself the questions that you need to ask, dismissing the old version of yourself and welcoming in the new one, and operating from that place. Follow the script, method acting. Follow that script so hard, and even if you mess up, have the bravery to say, okay, not in my world. I'm going to reset. Close your eyes. I'm going to reset. And that's all you need. That's all it takes. You can do that 10 times a day. Every single time you're changing your reality. It's a constant practice, not of just staying positive and happy and everything's okay even though I'm really falling apart on the inside. That is not authentic. That is not the frequency of authenticity. You will not attract anything by operating from fakeness. So get into the mindset of, I'm allowed to clock myself at any time during the day. If I don't like something, I'm going to reset it. You have the opportunity to do so. Reset. You don't have time to get emotional over a circumstance that you don't like, but rather change it. Change your perspective. Do it as many times as you need to. I think it's beautiful, actually. It's a beautiful part of life. And facing yourself is one of the most difficult things that you can do. And it's not fun all the time, but you'll start to learn to love it, getting to know who you are, because this is your only being you have in this life. This life, all you have is you. So you may as well get to know yourself and give yourself a clear sense of direction, especially from a young age, rather than waiting until you are your parents' age and realizing what you actually wanted is not what you have in your life. You can reset at any moment. If you want to have the blueprint to resetting your life and doing a daily reset, I wrote a book about this. It is a guide. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. I wrote it myself, and it's from what I learned from resetting multiple times from the age of 23. And it gives you a toolkit about how to navigate a reset without having to wonder, without a sense of clarity, where is my life going? You have the opportunity at any moment to define what that is for you, but it comes in steps. So check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.